This tire is off my KTM 690. Obviously, I'm changing it here in the garage. I would highly recommend that if you guys do this in your garage, that the first time that you use the tools you actually have on your bike. I've done this in the field many times, so I'm going to use my tools that I have here in the garage. And whenever you take your tire off, or change your tire, it's always a good thing to check your bearings. These little covers come off and you can repack them, so this one seems to be good. I've already checked the other side, so I always do that every time I take the wheel off. See, the first thing you got to do is get the air out, so get this valve stem out of here and get the air out of the tire, and go ahead and remove the nut here on the valve stem. And in case you don't know, you should leave this loose, don't really tighten it up that tight. Also, I'm going to break the bead here with tire tools, very similar to what I have in my toolkit. Normally here in the garage I have a bead breaker and I'd break it with that because it's easier, but I want to demonstrate to you guys how to do it with the tools you have in your toolkit. Tire tools similar to actually what I have in my kit over there. I carry 3. A lot of people just carry 2. You can do it with 2, but it's a lot easier to do with 3. So breaking the bead on these tires sometimes is pretty tough. Get all the air out of it, and then you got to just work a couple of these in there. You do one, get one kind of further out here, and then you hold these 2 down, and you break that bead in between. And again, you just have to work it around and work it down. So this one seems to be popping off pretty easy. Work it all the way around. And once you get this side done, you're going to flip it over and do the other side. Break that bead. I think changing these tires is not all that difficult. It's all about the technique, and if you get your technique right, it's not that bad. Okay, so we got that side down. Now we're gonna flip it over, and we're gonna do the same on this side. So again, one of the most important things is to get this opposite bead of the tire down in the rim. Then you want to space your tire tools out. I'm going to use 4 here. Normally in the field I only have 3, but since I'm in the shop, we'll do 4. Start with the second tool, and that'll pinch out all the rest of them in place. Then we'll go with our first one. And then our 4th. Yeah, there we go. Now, I think we're going to be able to get in there with our next one, and then we're off. Yep. Just a little bit. We go. There she goes. Another thing that can really help is if you heat this tire up. It's a spring day when I'm doing this, so it's not that hot out. But if it was the summertime, I could have heated it up and it would have made it a little easier. Okay. Now it's easy. Just spoon the rest of this off. Tusk tires have very stiff sidewalls, and I have put another part of a rim cover inside here that was causing some issues with getting this off also, so it wouldn't have been quite this hard. But it has a rubber inner tube liner to protect the spokes, and I'm kind of getting that in my tool and stuff, so part of this difficulty is self-inflicted because it's making it hard for me to get my tool underneath the tire. Normally that's not really that difficult. That one is a little bit of a booger. Now we should be able to just spoon it off. I am going to have to replace this tire liner though, I mean the rim liner, because I'm boogering it up. But it's a homemade one. It's not, if it was a store-bought one, I probably wouldn't be having this issue. So there goes to show you should use the OEM stuff. You can see that, I don't know if you can see it here, but that's that rim liner that my inner tube made one that was causing me issues with getting this side of the bead off. I just kept catching it, but that's okay. Yeah, see that? I didn't have one when I changed the last tire, so I made one out of a piece of inner tube. It's a good spoke cover, but it caused a little issues getting that side of the tire off. What I took off here was a Tusk Waypoint. It had some miles left on it. We did the Navajo Nations Loop, 1,700 miles in Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, Utah. I've done a trip to Colorado on it, 3 or 4 local rides, and a trip to Arkansas. Yeah, this is a Dunlop D606. It's a non-directional tire, so you don't have to worry about which way you put it on. This one is courtesy Steve Kramer, so thanks a lot, Steve, for the rubber. I think he took it off of Husqvarna 501, maybe? Anyway, so we'll pop this tire on. I'm gonna kind of check and see which way it was run and run it the opposite way. So it looks like this is it was run this way, so I am gonna spin this around and run it where the sharp edge is headed forward. I like to use Rubline, which is a rubber lubricator. I just buy it by the gallon and put it in this thing. You can also use soapy water, but this helps. And I really should be heating this tire up, make it easier to get on, but we're gonna see what we can do without heating it up. So we'll push it on down there, and then we'll use our tire tools to pop the rest of it on. Usually this part isn't that difficult. So we'll put one on each side so that we can keep it from jumping back up. There she goes. So after we get the tire on the rim, we're going to put a little baby powder in it. Squirt in a little baby powder. And then we will kind of spin this tire around a little bit, get that baby powder off in place. So I use a valve core puller, also by Tusk. I keep one of these in my toolkit also to use in the field. So if you put this through first, pull this through. And then screw that into your valve stem. And you kind of get your tube all lined up here. Get your tube all lined up. Go ahead and tuck it in the tire all the way around. Being careful to keep it kind of lined up with the hole in the rim over there. And work your tube in all the way around. Got a lot of baby powder on it from the last change. Then we want to make sure right at the end here that that valve stem is lining up pretty good. Then we want to tuck this in as we kind of pull on this cable. And sometimes you have to kind of work it around a little bit. And again, my rim liner is not really helping here. It's thick and you can see it there. It's almost in. Just got to work it around a little bit more. Sometimes if you get your hand in on the inside and change the angle of it, it'll help it to slide through. Especially if you have a oversized, there, okay? You just pull that through and then remove, I don't know if you can see that there. Remove that, that's very helpful. Okay, and then we're just gonna loosely put on the valve core nut, just where that valve core doesn't slide back down in there when we're putting this tire on. Now, the next step is to kind of run your hand around this rim and push the tube down as much as you can to keep it away from your tools when you're spooning it on, because the thing you don't want to happen is you don't want to pinch the tube and have to do this all over again. So I like to push it down. Some guys like to put a little bit of air in the tube. I'm not a fan of that. I just push it down like this, work it around, push it down, make sure it's away from that edge as much as possible. And then we're going to spoon most of it on, and then the very last little bit I'm going to do with the Baja No Pinch, because I really like that tool and I usually try to have it with me in the field. Okay, so I have that worked all the way around. Now again, keeping that bead down on the opposite side is real important once you get it started. And I like to start sort of a little bit on the other side of the valve core. And I use another Tusk tool. It's the bead holder, and you just slip that in. Depending on your rim setup, this one, it will clip over one of those spokes, and that holds that bead in place. And then we're going to work it around here as much as we can until it gets really, really, really tight. And then we're going to do the Baja no pinch. And we'll take it off the tool stand to do that. So we'll work this one around some. Now we're going to come over here and we're going to put in a block on this side. I'm going to push this bead down opposite of where we're spooning. Get it down in that rim. That'll help to loosen this side up a little bit so that we can spoon some more. See how easy that one was now? That was so much easier than it was when I just tried it. So we're going to take little bitty bites now. Little bitty bites. Very small bites. We're going to take just a tiny little bite here so we can get one in there. We'll see if we can get one more little bite before we put the Baja on there. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There we go. There we go. This tool is worth every penny, baby. They're expensive, but it is worth everything. And I keep a little thermal blanket in my kit so you can lay it out in the dirt when you're doing this all in the dirt. It's very helpful. But this tool is super helpful for getting that last little bit of tire on. There she goes. That, my friends, is a great tool. I hope this helps. Again, I highly recommend you doing this in your shop with the tools that you have in your kit so that you're able to do it on the trail. Just remember, keeping that opposite bead down of where you're working is one of the most important things. Heating the tire up also helps a whole lot. I didn't do it on this one. Made it a little bit harder, and I did have the homemade rim cover that was giving me a little bit of problems. Otherwise, this would have been even easier. Thanks for watching.